I've got it. Good afternoon, and it's good morning here in Los Angeles. Thank you for joining. This is the Global Chamber Salt Lake, Intermountain West, Denver, Rocky Mountain Meetup, Cross Metro Meetup. We're adding Boise in the near future. As some of the members there are interested in connecting as well. We also have a reasonably active and growing chapter in Bozeman that covers Montana. So I guess at some point we should connect them as well. When I was living in Salt Lake for many years, I never really got connected to Denver or felt like it was connected in very many ways. The Rocky Mountains and the Wasatch Front and the difference and it just didn't seem like it was connected. I don't know how far a drive it. How far is Salt Lake to Denver? You have to go down to 40 and cut across, I guess. It's probably what, 5 hours, something like that. I don't even know. It's a ways. But nonetheless, the region is a powerhouse and growing powerhouse, I guess is a better way to describe it on the international stage. Denver, I think because of the airport and because of really great strategies for the region, and particularly for those of us that have been spending time in cities that have less direct international flights like Phoenix, which is way lower than average historically, and seeing Denver, I don't know, I presume it's well above average in terms of number of international flights. And that's spurred economic development from a standpoint of the international side. And so kudos to Denver. I think similarly, and I don't know the data for Salt Lake, but because of the LDS Church and so many missionaries coming in and out, the international traffic is often, is higher than average. And if you've been in Salt Lake and you've been in the arrival area to see when missionaries come back, it's whether you're LDS or not, it's a fun and exciting time, for people to depart and to come back. For some reason, I haven't seen too many departures, but I've seen a lot of returns, and it's a fun thing, and it connects the world in ultimately good ways. With Global Chamber, we're connecting the world through business connections, and we just had our internet, well, it's called the Global Council. We have a global board now at Global Chamber. The first meeting was February 11th, and the second meeting was today. There's a lot going on with Global Chamber. And before I turn it over to a couple of you, I'd like to hear from Rob and on the Denver side, and Shadman on the Utah side first, and then we'll open it up for others to talk. I wanted to share just briefly what we talked about in our global board meeting. I basically said that I've never seen anything as crazy as right now, and I'm not talking about tariffs. Yeah, that's crazy in the geopolitics, but I've never seen people more interested in global business than right now. And the last month, quite honestly, has been scary in a good way, somewhat overwhelming in the number of new members and people interested. I told them a story about yesterday. 3 big new prospective members just fell into our lap, and one of them was a little bit irritated that after a couple days I hadn't already sent them the package for membership. And I took that actually as a very good sign that there is a lot of interest. There's a lot of money available for global business. One of the things that at one of our Globinars recently, we have an amazingly knowledgeable and connected leader for Japan. within Global Chamber. His name is Brian Swords. He has been recognized by the Japanese government. He and Mr. Nobu from the Nobu restaurant chain were the two award winners from the government of Japan in the last 6 months. And Brian is a longtime member from the beginning, and he also has been just an inspiration and a friend for over 10 years, longer than Global Chamber's been around. And he was talking about Japan right now. Japan's still, the country on the domestic side is still, struggling, because of the age issues, right? The population is shrinking, and you've got all these towns that are underhoused or underpopulated for the housing is a better way to say it. But outside Japan, the investment is staggering. And the data he talked about was that, during the peak of when America was against Japan during the time when Japan could say no, that book came out. It was $18 billion of Japanese investment in the US, which included Pebble Beach, $18 billion. And that was, at the time, frightening to many people that the US was being purchased by Japan. So now the number is 60 billion of foreign direct investment by Japan, and it's increasing, expected to go up to $100 billion next year. And so what we're seeing, is a staggering amount of cross-border investment, cross-border trade, cross-border interest, and we're trying to keep up. Practically speaking, the other aspect that I'll mention is that for Global Chamber, we've grown, and this year is another good year. We're going to set another record this year, but we're at the rate we're growing, which is only 20% this year, which is lower than average, but we should be growing significantly more. So at the beginning of this year, we set a plan to be at the middle of the year to be able to get much bigger, much faster. So if you haven't heard much from us in the last few months, it's because we've been working. We have a new operating system that's coming on right now. We're starting to use it, and it'll be fully up on August 4th. And so over the next couple of weeks, we're going to continue to implement this, and two things we'll be able to do much better in the next couple of weeks, which don't seem like they should go together. But number one is be much bigger, much more impactful in all 525 of our chapters around the world. And so we need to grow the chapters. We have a team that's growing and building that piece of it. We need to be much more effective in creating value, and there's a variety of things, including a new AI tool that we've been using internally that we're rolling out. This week, yesterday, we basically worked out that plan to finally get it into the members' hands over the next couple of weeks. And so we've been using it, it's amazing, and now we need to get that out, and that for us is really exciting. It's going to allow members to be able to expand and connect to clients and to people around the world in a much better way, in a much easier way, or around the block, either way. And so we've got a lot of really good things coming to be able to be bigger. The other aspect that I meant to say was, besides growing, the other thing we're working on is becoming a lot better at understanding members' needs, each member's needs. And part of our problem has been that we outgrew our data system, the Global Chamber system, and we outgrew it about 2 years ago. It was just like we've been doing workarounds and all sorts of things to work around it. And finally, with our global board, they said, you really probably should look at something else. And we did. And so now we're implementing this new operating system. So we're finally going to be able to not have a lot of workarounds around knowing who our members are, calling them the wrong name in some cases, having multiple emails and not knowing which one to use, just basic blocking and tackling. You would think we would have figured out by now, but we're finally now figuring out. So watch for more. We appreciate your support and your collaboration through this fun and interesting time. And I do believe, on stepping back on the macro level, that despite all of the craziness that largely is being instigated by the US government, that, times of change are opportunities for prospering. And I believe that's the phase we're in, that through all of this change, that there'll be a lot of people that prosper, and we, meaning the global tribe, will be first in line because we're already connected, we're already doing the deals, we're already got the platform to be able to take advantage, especially as things become a little bit more stable. There's still a slowdown on investing across borders. People are sitting on the sidelines waiting for the answer, waiting for things to be less confusing, because they are confusing. And foreigners relative to the US are going to be more confused longer because they're looking at the US and saying, oh my God. And we Americans are doing the same thing too, but I think we'll come to the table earlier to recognize some of these opportunities, and foreigners might take a little bit longer. But in the meantime, let's take advantage of the ones that we see. And so thank you for taking the time to jump in today and beginning that process. One of the real challenges we have right now is immigration. And full transparency, we have a team member at Global Chamber who left us on Friday, hopefully temporarily, but her father was caught up in the immigration issues. And so she's taken the time to devote her efforts to making sure that he is not deported. And so she's very upset. We're very upset. There's no reason that this should be happening, but it is happening. And for those of us in LA, I know the news media probably makes it worse than it really is, but there are some real, not pleasant things that are going on, for scaring people and, getting people to the point where, their life certainly is different and changed. Not being judgmental. Right or wrong, I'm not here to say that. I just know that people's lives are being changed. And this particular life, our employee, her life is changed potentially forever, and her father may not survive, this whole process if, in fact, he is deported. Certainly something not that we want to see. We have, by the way, and if you have other ideas, let us know. But they have a good attorney, and also we have both senators in Arizona, caseworkers that are doing something. I don't exactly know what they're doing and how that works, but that's as far as we've gotten in terms of using legal and also using politicians to be able to see if there's something that can be done on the judgment that has been passed so far during the time before this person has to leave the country. Shadman Bashir runs into these kinds of issues all the time because at Utah Tech in Southern Utah, he runs the immigration or the inbound international student programs. And, so you see, Shadman, this on a daily basis and the impact it has on the school. And in Southern Utah, I was very I felt good about what you said, that the fall looks pretty good in terms of enrollment. Could you let us know what's going on there, and if there's anything that we can help with, and any other updates that you have on the international side?
Thank you very much. Yep. I mean, when I say fall looks good, taking into consideration everything, it could have been much worse. So it looks good in that sense compared to last year. But we did lose many of the programs because what's happening is that parents are worried that their kids will not be safe. So we had to take steps. For example, if we have a group of students coming from Spain, our recruitment agent is coming with these kids to bring them in, so that the parents can be comfortable that there'll be someone at the airport because kids have language problems or something like that, or they won't end up in trouble because of what they say. So we had to make those kind of changes, and then that did help. But overall, of course, as we are seeing this question of uncertainty that and is benefiting the other countries, because before students had an option to go to Australia or Canada or New Zealand, even now, UK, but America was always on top of the list. But now, especially parents who are able to afford sending their kids over here and can pay for it, those are the ones that we are losing the programs to. And then on campus is also the concern. A few months back when this whole thing was happening, we had faculty members reaching out, staff members reaching out to our office to know if ICE comes on campus, what happens, how to respond, what will be obstruction of justice, and those kind of things. So it was a lot of panic here. But we'll see how things go. I mean, we're trying to adjust as much as possible. We have even given options to students that they can start their programs online before they come over here, till they can be some level of clarity. Another issue for our students is that students who are from the risky countries, the difficult visa countries, many of them don't travel, but this year they did not, because they were worried that what if they go back to their home countries and suddenly their visas get canceled, or they may have to go through additional scrutiny, social media and stuff like that. We had hired professors from Romania to come and teach for a semester. Those two professors, it took a little bit longer on their J1 visa because of the social media review from Romania, though they were both professors coming here to teach computing. So that's how it has been happening.
Very good. Thank you for the update. Does anybody have any questions for Shadman? Shadman has been our global advisor based in southern Utah. He's originally from Pakistan. We've known each other for way over 10 years, and it's amazing that he ended up at the university, and now he's risen to a point of leadership where he's the right man for the right job to be able to really care about these students and to bring international to southern Utah. Not exactly an iconic global location, but he's made it as global as it can be. Any questions for Shadman?
Yeah, I do. This is Barry. Sorry, I'm not on video at the moment. Shadman, what happens to these students or people who are deported? Are they just sent anywhere and then dropped off at the airport and good luck? Or is anything set up to take care of them when they arrive at these places?
Okay. Okay, thank you. Good question. In the past, I've not worked directly with deported students because luckily none of our students were deported. We did have students whose visas got canceled. Their I-20s got canceled, so they were supposed to go back. And as to the best of my knowledge, if anyone can correct me, that will be better. Generally, when people are deported, they are sent back to their home countries. And it becomes tricky if they have applied for asylum. But if they are deported, this means they did not get the asylum case because there's the fear of persecution that is there. That's one part of it. But now it's also changing that if the home country is not willing to take them, then where will those individuals go? We had a student. She now is in master's program in Arizona, and I've connected her with Doug as well, from Afghanistan via Turkey. So escaped Afghanistan, came to Turkey, applied for asylum, got asylum, just got her green card. She got panicked when this was happening. So she came to my office. Her question was, where will she be deported to in case if her social media triggers, because she lost her job, her boss told her that she was anti-Semitic, and then she loses her job and things are different. I could not tell her whether she'll be deported to Turkey, to Afghanistan, or to a third country. Though her fear of persecution claim was accepted, because when asylum is granted, this means whatever the applicant was saying was true. That's why it was done. But there is a huge uncertainty on that. So my apologies. I do not have a 100% accurate answer on that.
All right, now, thank you very much.
Thanks, Barry. Any other questions for Shadman? Yeah, let's keep going around the room. Thank you, Shadman, for that.
Thank you.
Rob Lance is an attorney. This is not his area of specialty, but undoubtedly he's had some of this issue. Rob, maybe for you, tapping back into the opportunities on the business side, what you're also on the diplomatic side, given the work that you're doing with the DC. Is it DCFR or DCR? Probably DCFR.
DCFR, yeah.
So what's going on in your world? What opportunities are you seeing? What would you like to share?
Well, to begin with, and thanks to Casey's expertise and getting people together, our Young Professionals Committee for the DCFR is helping put on a program tomorrow on global responses to large-scale migration, and we've got some of the top minds in that area speaking, including a gentleman from Oxford University who's a professor of migration and development there. He'll be appearing by Zoom, but the rest will be in person. And I think we've got over 60 attendees. I may be underestimating how many attendees we have already signed up for this event. So
Cool.
to answer your question, we're trying to educate. Colorado, as you may know, Denver in particular, has been sort of a hot spot and a target for the current administration because of some things that allegedly occurred in Aurora and other places here. And so we've had the spotlight on Denver on migration, immigration, and all the good stuff we're dealing with these days. Our protests, unlike in Los Angeles, have been fairly quiet and peaceful, and actually sometimes thought-provoking, which is a distinction I'd give credit to our citizens about. But so that's one area. With respect to, I guess another thing, I'll do another advertisement for the DCFR. We also have Alexander Yu, who's the Taiwanese representative to the United States. He is the highest diplomatic person from Taiwan in the United States. And that's on July 26th. And that one is also going to be an in-person event, but really got some challenging programs in front of us, especially in light of what's going on with China and Taiwan and China and the rest of the world these days. On the business side of things, as you know, I'm involved pretty heavily with the German American Chamber and also with connecting Munich with Denver, and I have actually quite a few clients at the present time that are in the what I would call alternative energy space that, and it's been interesting to deal with a German or an Austrian when they're asking me, what are the tariffs, what kind of tariffs or what kind of restrictions are going to be on my business in the near future. And with all the access to knowledge that I have and all the experts I know, I have to answer the question with a definitive, I have no idea. And unfortunately, that's kind of the environment we're in right now. So, I think with the big, glorious, amazing bill that was passed, there's going to be some limitations in that domain that are unexpected. Just in terms of the environment here, too, is I know that NOAA is located, for those of you who don't know, the National Oceanographic, whatever, the stuff that does the weather, and various meteorological headquarters are in Denver, and they're losing staff and funding, including people who are studying glacial ice and ice in Antarctica and Greenland. So a lot of nervousness here, and we also have NREL, which is National Renewable Energy Lab. I know that there's been some shakeups there and some concerns there because we represent some businesses in that domain. One of the things I can see coming out of this, and Doug, I'm sure you're seeing this too, is I think business leaders and people in the private sector like myself, I think we're becoming the modern age diplomats in the world because people in Europe can't rely on our government in this process, I guess, weaning them from the aid and support we gave them post-World War II. But I'm finding that people want to make connections on the ground on a local level, internationally, but on a local level to see what we can do and what we can create. And I think there's a lot of people looking to that space as the possibility that we're in right now in terms of being able to transact and to better the world and better our business community and environments. But it's been an interesting time. Like I said a couple times ago, I said I was in Germany and so many people were actually not even fazed by the talk of tariffs, and just fascinating to see, what the world is viewing us as right now. So that's kind of the big picture from Denver. But I'm optimistic with a question mark. So that's where I am right now because I have a lot of questions, and so do a lot of people.
It does bring up the importance of the global tribe and the connections, the interpersonal connections, because I'm sure you're getting the same thing where you're talking to people from around the world and they're verifying how you are and how like real people think about what's going on. And the modern day diplomats, by definition, diplomat is cross-border, right? But now it's more important that citizen diplomacy play a role. That's certainly with global ties. Does DCFR manage global ties, or who does that? And is that Global Denver, I think, right? Or World Denver?
That might be World Denver. I'm not sure actually.
So that they have a philosophy of citizen diplomacy and the importance of making those connections as the international visitors come in, and it plays a role, in terms of the people that come visiting. But there's I think a broader need, and one that we can all do, and you're doing undoubtedly every day. What you mentioned about Munich, Denver, is that a sister city relationship or is that something else?
More than that, it's actually a city-to-city agreement, which is an agreement to actually affirmatively transact with the other city.
Okay.
So we have agreements now between our symphony and their symphony, or one of their symphonies. I think they have 5 of them, but
Okay.
we're working with them directly. Our museums here are working directly. In particular, United and our 2 airports are working together quite dramatically. So we just had the first A380 land here about 2 months ago from Lufthansa, and so that's one of the connections that was created as part of that relationship. And the city of Denver has been very powerful in that domain, and our governor has been very, very good about trying to connect the world to Denver. And there's a lot of benefits flying into Denver. You get a heck of a lot further into the United States without having to stop at New York or Chicago or New York on a direct flight from Europe to here. And we're going to soon have direct flights to Dubai and allegedly some city in Africa very soon.
Okay.
So yeah, like you said earlier in the comments, I think the airport has done a lot to change the landscape here, and will continue to do so.
It's a driver, no question. Would you be open to follow up on, because our German team is looking for a city in the US to partner with on a Globinar, and so
Sure.
maybe it's already been done, but kind of sort of Denver, Munich, periodic Globinar maybe can support what the
Sure.
city of Denver's trying to do, and certainly would support our German team that wants a better connection.
Yeah, and I'm happy to connect with them. And like I say, I'm in the same office as the German American Chamber. And, my law partner is a former consulate, honorary consulate for Germany. And probably 80% of our clients are Austrian and German.
I
So,
think there's an energy delegation in Phoenix Friday at one of our members' place, but it's GAI. I'm trying to think of
GAI, yeah, GAI. That's, what is that?
yeah,
Because I think they were
probably
just recently here. It's
okay.
oh,
Oh,
in the domain of energy consulting. So,
okay. Yeah, it's a bunch of companies, so we're supporting that on Friday. It happens to coincide with our Mandela Day event, so we have two different events in Phoenix at the same time, German and Mandela Day. So anybody have any questions for Rob? Yeah, Allison, have you guys connected yet? You and Rob, are you there?
I don't think we have, like, not in
No.
person, but I've seen you on the meeting.
I think we're on LinkedIn, but I'm not positive about that. I've seen you before too.
Okay. Allison with GALA. Do you mind just introducing GALA? And I think the last time you were on, Leilani wasn't on, but did we establish that Leilani, you know Leilani too, right?
Yeah, we do. Yep.
And-
Okay, so GALA is the Globalization and Localization Association, and we are a trade association, nonprofit, 501(c)(6), and we're international. We have members primarily in Europe. About 2/3 of our member organizations are in Europe, about 25% in North America, and then the rest scattered around the world. But our focus is the language aspect of global business. So anything related to language, translation, localization, interpreting, culturalization, language accessibility, and then, as you probably all know, it's supported by a really robust technology that underlies all of these activities nowadays. And of course, with AI, things are changing quickly. So GALA is here to essentially support our members as they adapt to the changing environment, the changing best practices, changing technologies, and also to try to promote language as a really critical component of global business rather than an afterthought, which it often is. So that's a little bit about GALA. I'm located, I work from a home office in Southeast Aurora. I've been in the area for about 2 years. And then GALA and Global Chamber sometimes cooperate to do networking events in other cities. And because of a really strong presence in Barcelona with Yuka Nakasone, we have done an event in Barcelona, and we're talking about doing another one at the end of September this year.
How is your German connectivity? If we did a Denver, Munich activity, does that make sense for
Fantastic.
potential partnership?
Yeah, we have a ton of members in Germany. I want to say, I'd have to look at the data, but it's either number 1, 2, or 3 in terms of the US, because it's so big, ranks up there too. But in
Wow.
Europe, Spain and Germany have our biggest numbers of members. And in fact, we've hosted our annual conference in Munich before in 2019. I love that city. And then we're hosting in Berlin next April. So we do have super strong Germany connections across the country.
Okay. Berlin, that I for some reason I didn't remember that. So that's good. I'll mark that down so that we have that on our radar as well. Great. Anybody have any questions for Allison?
Do you have a special Global Chamber discount for the GALA conference?
Well, that's a great question. We have a special ALC discount actually for because you're partners with us.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I thought we had one. Yeah, but thank you for
Yeah,
considering it for sure. Thank you,
yeah,
Alice.
you bet.
So Leilani, with a discount, does that mean you're going?
I'm always
You
tempted by
considering?
the GALA conferences. They host I mean, they're well known, they're very high profile, and they're always in great locations. So one of these years I'll make it.
Fantastic. Would you like to introduce yourself? Leilani's a longtime member, and I was telling a story in the beginning about Southern Utah and a landscape that was in the background of one of our technical developers, or he's more than a technical developer, but he was showing something, and it looked like Southern Utah, like that road that heads out east of Cedar City that kind of goes over, and there's rocks and mountains with snow on them and the volcanic, and just kind of a weird landscape. And his screensaver had that on there, and I was thinking of that and about Southern Utah. And for you, um, or during that whole process, it was Trello was the technology, and I had not cleaned up my Trello account, and in the Trello account was the original launch of Global Chamber in Salt Lake City, which
I remember that.
it was at the not the, it wasn't Little America, it was a Grand America. Were you there?
I was there. That's where I met you.
Okay, so that was 20, I think it was 2015. So it was
Yeah,
10 years or so ago. And
yeah.
we always used to have breakfast at Little America, but I wasn't as familiar with Grand America. But that was the beginning, and we've had several executive directors in Salt Lake. I started with a BYU guy, I think, and then I got another BYU guy because I thought, as a University of Utah guy, I thought that would be a good balance. And then a lady named Mayor, Ayesha, she was a great executive director, but talk about immigration during the first Trump administration. Her husband was deported, and so she had to leave. She's now part of Global Chamber in Canada, as it turns out, out all across the border from Detroit in Windsor. So sad impact of what
Yeah.
immigration can result in. Really, two talented, extraordinary people. What opportunities are you seeing right now? What's going on? And please introduce yourself. You've been
Sure.
in the business for so long and had so much impact on global business.
Yeah. Leilani Craig with ComGab International Language Solutions. We provide translation, interpretation, localization, multimedia, localization, voiceover, subtitles, captions, anything having to do with languages, really. This is our 25th year anniversary, so we
Wow.
are celebrating all year long. We have
Yay.
been there, yeah. I need to do a better job at getting that out there. But we are always looking for connections with businesses um, who would ideally, want to partner or use our services. We work with businesses in different ways, either by providing the services or by supporting each other with services that complement each other. So partnership, clients, any type of lead is what I'm always looking for, and see if I can, and in turn, offer my services. I get approached a lot by really tiny, brand new translation companies, those that have been in business for less than a year or for a year or two, saying, "How did you do it?" So I frequently sit down with them and just kind of share what I can share with them to help them. I want everyone to be able to succeed in the process of having a company. As Allison will tell you, the reason we network with other companies is because we learn and support each other and help the industry. It's not because we're trying to avoid competing with each other. That's, we do, but on this side, we're also supporting and cheering each other on. So I do enjoy doing a little bit of consulting on the side, helping companies when they need it, and donating some of my time when needed. For example, I do a lot of universities. A lot of universities reach out to me and ask for help with talking to the students, helping them. I deal, ironically, less with the language department, more with the business departments. They see me
Good.
as an entrepreneur. So Friday, I will be at a university, at a college, judging their business competitions, their student entrepreneurial business competitions. And it's pretty amazing to see what they come up with. I'm like, my gosh, this is amazing. This is going to be a great business. I'm so excited for you. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Inspiring.
Yeah.
Leilani and her team helped us with one of our trade missions last year from Vietnam. It was a few dozen folks coming over, and it was great. And the team was really professional, and everything worked out perfectly. It was a difficult group of very
Yeah.
demanding people, but everything on the language side and the cross-cultural side worked out beautifully. Does anybody have anything for
No,
Leilani?
I like what Allison said. We call it co-opetition in our industry.
A combination of cooperation and competition.
And I love it. I find it very fulfilling to be in that type of environment.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Vanita Ross, down the road from you, has always got international programming to help entrepreneurs with their businesses. And I think the next program, the training program, is in September. So Vanita, we need to get reconnected on that to be able to support it. You've recently joined the advisory board for Global Chamber Salt Lake City. So thank you very much for that. Are you available to say hi and talk about that next program and anything else you have to share?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thanks for having me on that board. I'd enjoy working with you guys and learning more. There's always a lot of resources coming out of this group. Leilani, just to tell you a bit about our program, we corresponded earlier, but we've had some language companies that has sponsored the class, and what that gives them the opportunity to do is come in and talk about the services that they offer, and then there's some acquisition for you in that with some of the clients that we work with that take the class. So that's basically what that is. So the class, it's online, and like Doug said, now is a really good time for international. So we are recruiting for the class, and people from all over have taken it because it's a hybrid class for 10 weeks, and you get to learn all the ins and outs of international trade and the resources and the networking, and it's very interactive. So they learn from best practices, there's acquisition, a lot of stuff that goes on in the classroom as well. So it's the executive certificate for global business management. The STEP grant, they allotted some funding for it, but right now we don't know what's happening with that because it's an SBA loan. So World Trade Center, they allotted part of the STEP grant for that training as well. So they would sometimes send companies to take the training that are going on their trade missions and stuff like that, so that they have the information before they go on these trade missions. We also do some programming, and right now I'm working on there's a the International Visitors Leadership Program coming in, and with Utah Global, and we're hosting them for half a day. So I'm putting together a program that would have them meet with some of the key players in Salt Lake, the governor's office, World Trade Center, our business school, and some of our class clients from previous classes. They'll be coming to display their products to these groups. I think we have 23 people coming in August that we'd be hosting. So I'm looking forward to putting that together for them. So that's really good. That's a program we've been working with them for the last 2 years. Every time they bring people in, I would host them here and have them meet local business owners here as well. They would come in and talk to these international visitors. And we also have, I think Thierry mentioned Utah Global. They have the Global Ties on Fridays. So that's another collaboration. And like Leilani said, Leilani, are you based in Utah?
Yes, we are in Salt Lake City.
Okay, great. So yeah, there's usually a lot of collaboration here with the different groups. So they're always willing to come in and present and just help each other out. So it's really what how do you say that word? Allison. So there's a lot of that goes on here, which I'm grateful
Competition.
for because people are always willing to come in and share their resources and talk about what they do, and then we refer them back to these companies as well. So that's just a lot that goes on with the class here with us, and we have all these different programming. So right now, if there's people, you have business people that are looking for international business collaborating, or if they want to share their services, we sometimes have them come in as guest speakers to different workshops and stuff, and they get to talk about how they can help businesses that are looking to move from here to international, or vice versa. So right now the need is for these companies to, kind of take that class. They can take it online and kind of get a feel and see, how it can work for them.
Could you put that information in the chat and so that we all have that, and we'll get the word out as well.
Okay. Will do.
Does anybody have any questions for Benita?
Well,
Yeah, Barry.
Doug, Philani,
Leilani?
Yes.
Leilani, I had a client I was working with, a company in Iran,
Mhm.
for a good period of time, and one of them used an interpreter that is just amazing in terms of English and Farsi. Is that something you're need or looking for in the future, or someone I could connect you with?
Yeah, we always accept referrals to amazing interpreters. So yes, please, would
I
love
want
that.
you to know this guy, by watching YouTube, trained himself in English better than I can speak English.
That's wild.
I
That's
know.
nice.
So I'll
Yeah.
connect the two of you. I don't have, if you put your email in there, I'll connect the two of you, and
Okay, it's in the chat here. I'll do it right now.
very cool.
We have been trying to get Barry to learn English a little bit better, but
Oh, I was just failing so bad. I'm a New York Jew, and I'm just
he's a tough
not
student. Yeah, Barry and his two partners called me the other day, and one's from Jersey, one's from New York. I'm from New York, and so this was a very loud group of four men yelling at each other in a friendly New York way. It was a lot of fun. Thank you very much. Before I'll come back to you, Barry, but I'd like to get to let's see if she's still here. Anne Marie Graham. She is not in Denver. She's not in Salt Lake. She's not in Boise. She's in Dublin. And so she's a member there. And I remembered the fellow, his name is Jack McVeigh, who I need to introduce you to. He's out of the Bay Area, but he's coming to Dublin, and he's originally from Dublin. So I'll get the two of you connected. Is there anything based on what you've heard here that either you'd like to comment on, or anything you'd like to share about the opportunities that we should know about?
Thanks so much, Doug, and thanks everyone. I'm new to Global Chamber, so I'm just going around a number of the chapters just to get to know the community and the culture. And a big goal for me in 2025 was to get more global business. So I was looking at ways in which I could network at a global level. So I do quite a bit of, I'm a business consultant, coach and mentor with healthcare and medical. So I do work with a number of US business who are based in Ireland, but I want to kind of broaden my net. So this has been such a super education, just listening to you guys talking about the tariffs, because everybody in Ireland is just living on a knife edge that, the industries that are here are going to pull out and going to crumble, and the economies. So it's very much a scaremongering type thing with the media. So it's lovely actually to hear it from the other side of the fence, and the rational arguments. So it's been super interesting to listen to you, and I love the American accent.
We have an accent, really?
Oh, I love it. A business coach asked me actually this week, if your business was a place, how would you describe it, in terms of your brand? And I said, oh my God, definitely New York. You know, I went there for the first time in 2001 or 2002, and I literally went there on holidays every year for 8 or 9 years in a row. So I just love everything about it. But the accents in general, I love.
So Denver and Salt Lake don't have an accent that I'm aware of. I think there's a Utah thing that goes on, like
It
the
maybe
word
do.
the word milk is milk, as an example. There are some variations around that. My wife grew up in Utah, so I have a little bit of Utah-ese in my background, but
Yeah, and instead of creek, it's crick.
crick, there you go.
I don't hear it in that detail. I just love the general accent.
Got it. Denver is pretty clean language, right? There's nothing like that in Denver, is there? Rob, I mean, isn't Denver English pretty clean English?
I don't know if I'd call it clean, but it's understandable.
Yeah, I
You
for
know what I mean? Yeah.
it's not even in the Midwest, right? There's a Chicago thing that goes on in the Midwest, and Detroit has a little bit of thing. And they talk about 14 different regions within the United States, different cultural regions. And so I think we all know there's a little bit of that. We're at the top of the hour. We like to actually try to wrap up about 55 just to give us some opportunity to segue into whatever we have next. Before I close the room, though, does anybody have anything urgent that you have, or anything that you'd like to share verbally or in
Well,
the chat?
I just wanted Ann to know I'm heading over to Dublin here in September and,
Oh,
and
cool.
touring some of your parts of, the Ring of Fire, whatever, all those things, Ring of Kerry and all these other places.
Oh,
So
brilliant.
I just love the Ireland accent too.
Oh, thank you, Barry. Thank you so much. Have a
So
great time when you're here.
We will.
Barry's a leading leadership coach, and I've actually taken 2 courses from Barry, and they both changed my life. And the one topic that's so immensely Barry is the concept of integrity. And unfortunately, it's a concept for too many people. They don't live it. And Barry teaches leaders how to live integrity. And I'm getting there. I'm working on it. Thank you, Barry.
Doing great. And it's Rob Lance's life I've ruined. I apologize for that, Rob.
Ah, okay. I got you.
A lot of the programs too. Anyway, moving right on along.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
I'll just say one more thing, Barry. We're GALA's doing an event next week in Chicago, on kind of global storytelling. So not only language, but global content and telling brand stories. So if any of you have friends in the Chicagoland area, it's in Evanston actually. It's just I think it's on a Tuesday afternoon. I'd be happy to share details.
Oh yeah, share them anyway. Put them in the
Okay.
chat.
Yeah, I think that's the one that Demetrius Evans is going to, our board chair there. Is that the one that we were transferring back and forth recently, last week or two? I thought there was a gala event in Chicago. Maybe I thought it was downtown though, but so I'll have to double check. So GALA's all over, and in great organization. Hopefully everybody now has a better understanding of it. For Denver and Salt Lake, now that Vinita's on the board, we'll get an advisory board going, and the target is in September to get an advisory board meeting and just continue these meetings, of course, these globinars, but have a separate advisory board. And for Denver, Ricardo Gambetta is been traveling, but we're working on getting an in-person event in Aurora. So, Allison, you brought up being in Aurora. So we'll have an in-person in Aurora, and we're working out the details. So stay tuned for that. And getting a Global Chamber Denver advisory board meeting going. And it's up to him in terms of his schedule. He's a very busy guy. And Allison, as you mentioned, I think it was the Aurora seems to be a bit of a target. Maybe Rob, you were the one that mentioned that. And so Ricardo's particularly extra busy. So hopefully we get through this phase, and we continue to be the kinds of global citizens that we can be, and work through these challenges. Ultimately, I am also an optimist, as mentioned earlier, hopefully a realist too, that we'll make this better. So thanks everybody for making this last hour better for, I think, hopefully all of us, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you, Doug, for paving the way.
Doug,
Sure.
can you
Thanks,
stay for a
guys.
second?
Oh yeah, Leilani, sure. Yeah, what's going on?
I forgot to share that WeBank, are you familiar with WeBank, the Women's Business Enterprise Network? It's
I
a
don't think-
national association that certifies women-owned businesses.
Okay.
They just announced that their annual conference will be in Salt Lake City next year.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
yeah, I'm part of I'm the chair, the local chair for the WeBank chapter.
I
And
think
they're
I saw that.
huge. I mean, they're huge.
I saw it on your profile.
Yeah.
What is the acronym? WEENC,
BENC.
way back. Okay. So we should do something.
I
At
think,
least,
at
at least
least
promote it.
somehow. Well, and many of those businesses are global. I'm sure they would welcome some kind of, something with Global Chamber.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
you get a lot of large corporations there, a lot.
Okay. I'll send you a follow-up email. Thanks.
Every major corporation has a buyer there.
Thanks for the heads up. We typically internationally work much better with women because we're kind of outside the mainstream of kind of the traditional type stuff, especially like with chambers and associations that
Yeah,
are male driven. Women are looking for an alternative to be heard and be
yeah,
respected. And
yeah.
so we'd be happy to learn more. I'll send you an email and follow up.
Okay. It's good to see you. Thank you
You
so
too.
much.
Thanks for joining. Thanks, Jem,
Okay.
for organizing. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.